Episode 331 of the TV Dudes, recorded May 5th, 2021. The Weird, the Loud, and the Ugly. This week, we're talking about the weird, the loud, and the ugly. That's Brockmire, Rebel, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure on HULU, and Invincible on Prime. And we'll let you decide which one is which. Or we might tell you. But before we get to all that...
I'm Les, so I'm the weird.
I'm Nick, and I'm the loud.
And I'm Randy, and that leaves me with the ugly. And we are the TV Dudes. So, JoJo, you might have caught JoJo's Bizarre Adventure up in there. We're going back to Patreon. Our patron Mandy has been patiently waiting for us to talk about JoJo again, by which I mean sending me memes and GIFs and talking to me about it every week.
Well, she spared our life. She gave us a month to go and really learn JoJo.
Yes.
And now we must return.
We'll be talking about the second half of season 1. Nick, I feel I should tell you, Mandy, just being a patron, is a close friend of mine. She said she just was listening to the episode this week, and she says, I love all you guys, but especially Nick.
Oh, that's fun. Mandy, thanks. You can leave those poisoned rings in their necks. Like, just keep them on the leash.
Nick's like the cool kid that moves here just for the summer. Fucking everything up, then you're out. Yeah, I see it.
There's gonna be 20 years later. There's gonna be an episode. There's gonna be a show where Nick is the hero and we're the assholes.
Oh, dang it! It's gonna be so much better than this podcast.
It's gonna be so much better than this podcast.
Everybody's gonna be like, I can't believe that redo of the TV Dudes is so good.
There's no way it should have been that
so
good.
So much better than Handing Right to
You. So let's jump over and talk about our TV diaries for the week.
The Diaries of the Television Dudes. Brought to you by only the finest cocaine wine.
Nick, I see your TV diary's a little anemic. Why don't you start off there?
Oh yeah, I was actually upping that yesterday, and I forgot to add in some of the other stuff. I got behind on the homework even for this one because this is the week I first watched Ted Lasso, and I've never done this before with a TV show. But after I watched that one in a day, I made sure I had like about 6 hours to just watch that, and then after I was done, I went back to the first episode and I watched that bitch again. And I just went right back through. That show is wow. But at the end of it, I was stunned. Just couldn't believe it. Like,
yeah,
I was in tears at the end. Like, the writing, the conflict creation and resolution on that. It's a masterclass. I would definitely watch it if you are into writing stories in any way, because it's doesn't take the easy way out on almost anything. Like, they might do the most mature divorce storyline that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And
yeah, that's a show I watched. I think I've watched it through like 4 times now.
It's fantastic.
Several of the best apologies between friends I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Just, I mean, like, it sounds like a minor thing, but holy crap. Don't see it modeled on television.
Yeah, Les, could you apologize to me in my dreams so you're good on that end too?
And also, just like, honestly, it was the best show of 2020 and nothing else was even close.
No, not even close.
It was so good.
That's not to say I didn't watch some good TV last year, but like...
Oh, I watched great TV.
On several fronts, I was shocked, and there's a whole episode of us just flipping out multiple times.
I thought about it hard, and I can't think of a show I liked more that in the last 10 years. Like, it's really that fantastic. Just good.
Again, if you told me that we were gonna take an NBC commercial
Apple.
promo, it was a commercial promo.
You're right. Yeah,
and they turned. We're gonna turn this into a series about English football. I don't
You
care.
can call it soccer. It's
care.
just us
Soccer.
here.
I don't care.
Yeah. So yeah, if someone had come up to us and said in 2020 the best show on TV is going to be it started off from NBC Sports. It's about soccer, and it's on Apple's streaming network. You would have assumed that person was schizophrenic.
Yeah, and if they, especially when they lit into the like, and you should pay for Apple for it, like it's that good.
Yeah, and also and by the way, also there's gonna be a pandemic. Everybody's gonna be living inside. Like you would be like, none of this is true.
I'm sorry. Back up to the spot. Oh, Ted Lasso. No.
Yeah, once the pandemic happened, you'd be like, well, maybe I should check out this Ted Lasso then.
After the Ted Lasso part, what did you say? Oh, nothing.
Don't worry about that. Also, Donald Trump's still president. Wait, what? I'm sorry. You know, they say the weasel.
I'm just shoveling weasels into a hadron
the Hadron Collider,
like an old-timey coal engine.
I mean, that it got us the darkest
like a
timeline.
Steamboat Willie, like harkening back to animation, kids. That's in 3 and 2. The pirates are out.
Is Ted Lasso the silver lining to the darkest timeline? Is that what we're saying?
Is that what we got?
Like, there's a world in which Hillary won the election, but we get no Ted Lasso, and man, that's a tough call. That's not gonna lie.
That's a tough call. Do we still have the MCU in that one? That might be a deal breaker for me.
Yeah,
we never got Fat Thor.
But yeah,
what else on there, Nick?
Yeah, I spent most of my time watching that. Of course, I finished up season 4 of The Muppets. Nothing huge to report over there, other than they had Luke Skywalker on and Mark Hamill, like his cousin.
I remember that episode.
And that's great. They had C-3PO and R2-D2 on. They did an episode of Pigs in Space with Luke coming on, and of course Miss Piggy comes up and pretends to be the Princess Leia, and Luke goes like, you're not the princess, and she goes, and I'm not paraphrasing here,
"Look, Skywalker, go along with this or I'll cut you in half."
Look, it's the princess.
and he's like, "Hey guys, it's the princess." I was like, "What? That wasn't even like a joke. That was just a legit fucked up threat." Like normally it's usually a pun or some sort of like inferred thing, but like that was just legitimately threatened violence, and it was hilarious. Also, the Swedish Chef is a fucking monster. I always thought that it was impossible to be racist to white people, but the Swedish Chef has got to be as close as it gets to a minstrel show for like Eastern European people. Bork, bork. And I never thought about it before, but he starts to use vegetables that are alive, and that is, I don't know how to feel about that.
Yeah, there's like a hate war between him and food a lot.
Yeah,
it's real weird.
Les, I showed you this clip of the Muppet movie, when they did the Jason Segel one, and he flamethrowers a fucking fridge full of fruit just because it's rotten and it screams for them to help him. And I'm like, oh man, I heard some screaming, but I realized, oh no, that was me screaming. Never mind.
I read somewhere that the Swedish Chef came about because of Henson and Oz overseas, like in Scandinavia somewhere, I assume Sweden, watching hotel television all night.
Okay.
Like in a cheap hotel. And I assume that left out of that story in whatever respectable publication I read that in was that they had to have been high as fuck.
Yeah.
The Swedish Chef just screams the kind of inside joke that like everyone on the tour bus is real fucking sick of about a week later because like Frank and Jim got baked and watched Swedish television all night and bark, bark, bark. God damn it, stop. Jim.
Yeah, you can also, like, if you watch him long enough, you can start to understand Swedish Chef, and that's weird. Like, it is a spoken language. There's made-up words in there. Bork doesn't mean fucking anything. But
it means everything.
But there is a way to, like, kind of understand what he's saying. He's saying it a little bit slurred and not with the right letters. And you start to, like, get it after a while. I don't know.
It's like that teen best friend code bullshit. Like,
yeah, it's like if you and your best friend would make up a fake
Pig Latin
language.
sister language kind of shit. Yeah.
Yeah. I also caught up on My Hero Academia because that finally came back. The pandemic was a havoc on a bunch of stuff getting dubbed anyway, and a lot of production. So that's finally starting to come back. So
yeah, my manga watching or my anime watching slowed way down in the pandemic.
Sure.
I can't even pretend.
And I'll tell you what, I rewatched the concert episode again, which is just the super. It's like if the X-Men decided to put on a concert,
And again, I don't know if you can hold this up.
and you were like, the X-Men are like, no, the X-Men shouldn't be superheroes. They should put on concerts. They should be a band because they are way better at this than they are at anything else. It's that level good of a concert.
You know, Mojo recognized it and tried to make it happen.
Yeah, I mean, they have their Cyclops shoots his laser beam from his belly button, and he acts as their like disco ball during it. And what was it?
So it's really more like the Mike Allred X-Force. Turned
Yeah. Yeah. They have like a chick that can control gravity, so she goes down in the crowd, and instead of mosh pitting, she makes people float just above the crowd. Like they should just start floating. And I'm like, oh man, that's awesome. And then I thought, wait, what do they do if like after, like if she doesn't find them, do they still float? Like just can she like go get them, or are they like stuck? Ah, never mind. It looks cool.
She gets killed in a battle 6 years from now, and they just drop.
The what was it? The latest episode was with the hero Endeavor, which is just a great hero name. And he's the fire hero. And I love his new look. He got all fucked up and scarred, and really that's cool, but also it got rid of his mustache. You know how sometimes
It's a long way to go. To get rid of a mustache.
superheroes, like, or people with fire powers, they get like hair that's on fire. You know, like Hades.
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Mhm.
Yeah, that sort of thing.
yeah.
Well, he has facial hair that's fire. And it disturbs me, and I don't like it. His mustache is just a flame thing.
Like if Yosemite Sam got mad enough that it really just like
Yes, that's what it is, Les. It's Yosemite Sam if it was actually on
man.
fire. And so it got rid of that, and I'm like, oh, thank God, that was the most fucked up part of your look.
Oh, that's terrible.
And then I watched some real weird stuff, but
Oh, wasn't the weird stuff? Okay.
no, that wasn't
all right.
weird. My Hero Academia, like Baby Town frolics.
Les, what did you watch?
I watched, of course, more 30 Rock, and I watched the rest of. I think I had a couple left on Shadow and Bone.
Where are you on 30 Rock? Out of curiosity, what's going on in there?
God, we've been skipping around. Avery Jessup just got back from Korea.
Okay, so my memories happened to mention 30 Rock. I was supposed to do a rewatch a few years back, and in my memories every so often I'll say something that is like a specific thing, and it was like I would like I'm not sure if I'm feeling 30 Rock right now, but I would watch a whole show of Margaret Cho playing Kim Jong Un.
Yes.
Because that was amazing.
So I just watched their wedding episode, and everybody shows up to like break up the wedding. Like Avery's mom is there, and of course she gets too hammered to break it up, and the guy that she's Scott Speedman on Sports that she's in Korea with, like he's there, and of course his girlfriend that he's engaged to is there, and so he won't break it up, and then Kim Jong Un is ill.
Is it ill? It is ill. You're right.
The older,
it's the older one.
Older
yeah.
one. I don't know. Anyway, clearly I don't have enough dear leader propaganda in my house. Yeah, he's there as a waiter, the greatest waiter in the world. And I love that when he quits after he decides like I just want Avery to be happy, and he quits, and the boss walks over and is like, "Where are you going? You're the greatest waiter I've ever seen." I know. Yeah, I fucking love 30 Rock. There are still bits in this show that I forget that I'm like, oh shit, this is coming up. Yes.
This reminds me, we've got on the calendar for like I think it's even next week. It is Girls 5 Eva, which is the new thing on Peacock that is from I think it's Faye and Carlock again.
Oh shit. Okay.
So we'll see if anything comes of it. But
of course, I watched Brockmire season 4 because it originally aired on IFC, which meant that I saw it on Hulu a year later. I watched Stowaway over on Netflix, which is Anna Kendrick and Toni Collette in space. That was really good. It is rather sad, but it is really good. It's a kind of moral dilemma of having a fourth person on a ship, and you don't really have enough life support for that.
Yeah.
It's. I'm not saying you're not going to pick it apart a little bit after, but it was very good. I had some palm sweaty moments. I was really surprised.
Okay, all right.
Watched Tenet. Did not have palm sweaty moments. Chris Nolan thinks the bullets moving backwards look a lot cooler than they do. We can discuss it another time. I apparently don't really like Christopher Nolan, I realize.
I learned that right before I watched Tenet.
So also caught up on Mayor of Easttown because I interviewed one of the actresses from it.
Okay.
Not Kate Winslet, but so we'll have that interview coming up soon. Of course, caught up on JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, which I have on here twice because it was scarring. And then last night for my birthday, I ended the night with rewatching Ready or Not, which I'd only seen
Love
once.
Ready or Not.
I've seen twice.
Yeah.
3 times now.
Yeah.
I love that movie. Basically, the only problem with Samara Weaving movies is that she's frequently not the lead.
Mhm.
And she should have every ounce of screen time and never go missing for an act of an entire movie. Babysitter.
Yep.
So Ready or Not's fucking amazing.
It's great.
Love that movie.
Yeah.
Kind of want to rewatch it again right now.
I watched Happy Endings, finished my Happy Endings rewatch, burned through the rest of season 3. Now I'm sad because there's no more Happy Endings. And God, I forgot how good that show is. Like, the cast is so good, the writing is really clever, and everybody, all the writers and people have moved on to bigger things. But man, that show was so good. It almost, I may wind up going and watching New Girl just to get a little more of Damon Wayans Jr. Because I was and really Eliza Coupe is so good in that. Not just Eliza Coupe. What's the girl who's the 24 girl? Why am I blanking on her name?
That's Elijah Cuthbert.
Elijah Coupe. Yeah, that's who it is. She's amazing on that show.
Mhm.
She's so funny.
But then, I mean, everybody on that show's amazing.
Oh yeah, amazing. I always love Casey Wilson.
Yeah.
She's also, I think Casey Wilson wound up in Atypical on Netflix. I think she's one of his counselors or something. And she's great. So I think that's where I saw her last. I don't know. She was playing an adult last time. It was weird. It was like a grown-up woman and not a woman who keeps with a giant head and keeps bonking into things.
The last thing I saw her in that I was her and Ken Marino as like a married couple or about to get married couple.
Yeah,
and they're just a train wreck. Like, she's just insane.
Yeah, and that feels more like Penny. Going with the character Penny. Watched the second episode of Big Shot. I'm still enjoying that. Watched season 3 of The Nevers, which I'm still not. I'm in a place with The Nevers where
There's 3 seasons of that shit?
No, it's 3 episodes. It feels like 3 seasons. I like parts of it. There's a fight scene in episode 3 that's just phenomenal. That is something I've never seen before. But then there's so much stuff I just don't care about, and I don't know, man. I'm still watching, but I'm not. It's never going to be like top of my list, I don't think. Finished Invincible, which we'll talk about. Watched the Assembled about how to make Falcon and Winter Soldier, which was great. I love the behind the scenes stuff, and I was very happy to see that. I always forget they're doing those. Watched 22 versus Earth, which is a 3-minute short from spun out from Soul, which it was kind of nothing. I was hoping for more, and it was kind of nothing. But then I watched Mitchell's versus the Machines on Netflix, which is from Sony Animation and a couple of guys who worked on, I can't remember what the animation, Gravity Falls.
Oh, nice.
And produced by Lord and Miller. And it was, no kidding, the best movie I've seen this year. Like, super good.
You are not the only person I've heard that from.
Really heartwarming, really funny, really clever. Like, Sony Animation is on a different level than everybody else. It's better than Soul. It's better than anything DreamWorks has produced in a while. Like, it is phenomenal stuff. It's up there with Spider-Verse. It's really good.
Wow,
dude, you had me at the makers of Gravity Falls.
Yep.
I love that show.
Same.
Yeah, it's so good. Watched 2 episodes of Yusuke until I realized I didn't give a shit. Caught up on JoJo's Bizarre Adventures. Watched Rebel because we're going to talk about that. Watched an episode of Infinity Train on HBO Max because my kid wanted to watch it, and I quickly drifted away from it because it's this kind of weird adventure timey stuff that I just don't care about. Les put Brockmire back onto the radar, so I went back to Brockmire, which I've watched 5 episodes of. Watched the last 3 episodes of season 1, all of season 2, 1 episode of season 3, and then to jump to finish all of season 4. So I've watched almost all of Brockmire this week, and we're going to talk about that later.
Yeah, I forgot about Yusuke. I actually watched the first episode of that too. And even I was like, the first 5 minutes, I was like,
Man.
wait, what are robots doing here?
Yeah, it's just not.
Because it's like, what
yeah.
was it? It's the story of actually a historical story of like a real life black samurai that actually existed. I mean,
That's
this
what
is
I
a
was super
documentary.
confused by hearing y'all talk about it. I did not watch
Yeah.
any of it, but
And,
like this
then I'm like,
has-
okay, this might be kind of neat, some interesting drama, and then suddenly a fucking Eva shows up, and I'm like, but why though?
Yeah, there's robots and magic. I don't know what the fuck was going on.
I seriously thought like this angry redheaded girl was gonna jump up out of the robot and go, oh wait, I'm in the wrong anime. Did you see a pubescent boy that is having a
Yeah.
hard time deciding
like
which
a Monty Python
a
sketch.
girl or boy he wants to fuck? No.
Yeah.
How about some other robots that are metaphors for sex or dicks? No? Damn it, I knew we should have taken that left turn at Big O.
Does your
that is
armor run off sex or blood? Where the fuck are we?
Well, that is about as clean a segue as we're going to get to talk about Stranger Than Fan Fiction.
Imagine, if you will, a reality containing television programs so bizarre they are indistinguishable from the ravings of a madman. Is the show you are about to hear simply a fabrication in the mind of a man with clearly nothing better to do with his time? Or is the truth indeed stranger than fan fiction?
Oh, okay. Well, it is Randy's turn to pick out of the two shows this week. The letters are D and S.
I'm going to go with S.
S. Okay. So this show is, let's see here. So this one is a show about like a MMO RPG. And this girl that plays it like it's her first MMO RPG. And it's a really cute show, only when it's not being unbelievably horrifying. And the premise is that this girl doesn't really want to like hurt herself during the game, so she's like, well, I'll just put a bunch of points into defense. And apparently she's the only player to ever do that because it absolutely breaks the game. Like, she becomes the best player by simply not being able to be killed because her defense is so high. And apparently a lot of your skills are based off of how many times you get hit by stuff. So that's how like she's gaining skills. And I'm like, okay, I get this. All right, this is kind of neat and it's cute. She names herself Maple. And I think she gets a turtle later, a pet turtle that she names Syrup. And I was like, that's adorable. I love this. Up until I don't think the show knows certain things are more horrifying than they seem to portray they are. Because the first boss she fights is this serpent thing. And of course she can't get killed by it, but also she can't hurt it. Like she doesn't have like a sword or whatever. So instead she bites it and she realizes that she can eat it. So she eats it while it's alive. And like they're like, oh, finally, and they got, nice music of like, oh, she's finally winning. I'm like, wait a minute, this is fucking horrifying. What are you
like, for the same reason that like no campaign managers will let politicians like eat corn dogs and shit near cameras?
Yeah.
I assume.
It's and I'm like, okay, and it's only every once in a while. It's not all the time, but just every once in a while, like once or twice every episode, something just really fucked up will happen. And I don't it'll just throw me. I'll like have nightmares about it. Like she like learns like a poison thing. So like she goes into a PvP match and suddenly a guy tries to attack her and she's like, "Oh, well, I don't have to eat you because I trained my shield to eat you." And her shield eats him. Then everyone tries to run away from her because they don't want to get eaten, and she's like, oh, okay, I'll just summon this poison cloud that poisons them and leaves them vulnerable and paralyzed on the ground until she eats them one by one slowly. And I'm like, what is the music here? This is scary as shit, and like, I don't understand, like, this is not as cute anymore when she's this horrifying. Also, these people feel pain? Because it looks like they can, and I don't think that's good. She gets eaten by a monster later. And the monster eats her. Her defense is so high, though, that the stomach acid can't dissolve her. So instead she goes, I don't know what, I'll do my go-to thing. And she starts to eat the monster from the inside out. And eats her way out of the monster. The monster outside is just like, oh my god, like it's got indigestion, but like she's aliening her way out of it, xenomorphing her way out of it. It's just, and as far as I can tell, the only conflict of the show is the programmers that are trying to nerf her abilities because she's breaking the game all over the goddamn place, and they can only like nerf stuff after she breaks it, so they can't get ahead of her. And then suddenly they at one point they just kind of give up. They're like, well, she's kind of like the mascot of the game now, so I guess we'll just let her run and do whatever she wants and fuck over whatever other players there are. And yeah, I at some point I'm like, am I watching the accidental villain here? Is that's what's happening? Like everyone else thinks she's a villain, but I'm the only one that sees that she's doing this all on accident. And but yeah, she turns into a giant salamander thing because of the thing she gets from eating the monster she had, and I didn't understand that. But at that point, I was kind of like, well, I guess that can happen too. She creates an acid rain attack that she used, like, oh, watch this new attack, and she hits a flock of sheep with it, and you can hear them screaming in pain as they die. And I was like, who programmed that? Who programmed these things to feel or simulate pain? That's weird. Yeah, that's a show. I don't know. It hasn't really finished up, or it's another one of those that got Funimation and all that stuff is pandemic really messed up the production schedule and stuff. So, all right. So, is this show real, or is it from the depths of my disturbed mind?
Nick, if this is not real, you've definitely sold it, because you even talked about like production delays and like you laid this all out. And just because you mentioned the MMO thing right at the beginning, I'm like, yeah, this all sounds real. I'm going with real. This is real.
Okay, Randy's answer is real.
So the problem is that, I mean, as is the whole premise of this show, anything sounds real in anime. Like, all of this sounds believable. And I am going to go with not real because there's kind of only one hat on this hat. And I can't believe that like the whole thing isn't also another thing.
That it's not run by a hat that's a sentient vampire.
Exactly.
That the whole thing isn't run by it.
And also you said like every week 1 or 2 things happen that is just like, Jesus, what the fuck? And that seems low.
That seems like a low. That
seems like
end.
A low number for a real anime.
I like Leslie. Your reasoning is it's not weird enough.
It's not
That's
weird
solid
enough.
reasoning right there.
It's like when solid. It's like when you try to get people to write a list of random numbers and they don't have any doubles, or something like that. And yeah, no, it's not quite real random.
So,
all right, Nick, tell us.
Randy says real. Les says not real. Guys,
yes,
this show is real.
Dang it!
It is called Bofuri, I don't want to get hurt, so I'll max out my defense.
Are you joking on the title?
No, I'm not joking on the title. That's what it's called.
This is translation stuff.
Oh,
right there.
okay, yes, okay, got it.
I note that there's like the time I got reincarnated. There's a company called Yen Press that we look through every month for previews when we're ordering stuff, and the titles are the craziest shit, and it's hilarious. They're extended. They're gotten to the point where they're paragraph length titles.
Yeah, it's really like the synopsis is the same as the title. Just
yeah.
That show is on Funimation and Hulu, I think, if you are interested in watching it.
Yep.
I am not.
I feel like as the loser on this, I should have to watch the first episode. I was just trying to think, like, did we set up what happens if one of us guesses wrong?
Oh, interesting. Consequences.
I didn't know there was going to be a punishment. I love that Les volunteers punishment for himself.
I mean, I think there should be an anime about it. Yeah, so I'll watch Defense and First Battle, which is going to be 23 minutes and 40 seconds of my life.
Oh, good lord.
Sure. Let me know if you want to watch the first episodes of Magic Swords, too. I'll get back to you on that.
I do not. I would much rather hear you tell us about Magic Swords again and again and us constantly think it's not a real show. You're like, no, guys, I swear, it's more of the same show.
All you pigs is acting plotting this, the ones I gotta murder. If you lying on my name, you'll be dying all the same. Water slacks your dog cap up, now he looks like Bobby Shmurda. I keep the green around me, I'm surrounded by my goblins. Look, this isn't Nick, but you see slime when I go poppin'. I'm not a lone wolf, I move like Ranga when I'm mobbing. When you start rap, it's not a manga when the volume dropping.
This is a good time to remind you that you can support us by going over to patreon.com/tvdudes. Throw us a buck an episode. In exchange, we get to keep up with our streaming services, pay for our hosting costs, and you get bonus content each week. This week, we're beginning our Shane Black movie marathon talking about Lethal Weapon, which I don't think any of us rewatched this week.
I
saw it a week ago, so I don't feel bad about.
I mean, yeah, I've seen it so many times. I could probably do it from memory.
I saw
right
it the
now.
previous weekend, so I felt okay.
Could we call that our Shane Black marathon? I was thinking we call it Back in Black month or Back in Black.
Sure, why not?
It's pretty shameful.
We also have our $20 show order level. So if there are shows you want to throw into the rotation, you can buy into that level and give us a couple of ideas. Since I've had some questions from people on this, the deal is basically you buy in for a week at $20, wait for us to charge you, and then go back down to regular. And that will get you the 2 shows for the year. You can only do it once a year. We don't have as many taking advantage of it. But you don't have to pay $80 or $100. It's just $20. You do it once and then change your subscription.
Jesus, we are cheap sluts.
Yeah, we are.
We really are.
And Mandy has successfully requested JoJo again, which we are going to talk about. We're not starting with JoJo this week. We're going to start with a couple of things that Les put on the.
Oh, we're going to finish with the best. I see. We'll finish with JoJo. I got
the
you.
bizarrest, at least.
We're definitely not finishing with the best. But also we're not finishing with JoJo. But we'll get to it. There's a method to my madness. Let's start by talking about season 4 of Brockmire. And I would like to start by saying that I watched a little bit of Brockmire, I believe, because of Les. And it had Hank Azaria, who I love. I didn't realize until I started watching. It's got Amanda Peet, who I also love. And I fell in love with the show very quickly, but it just sort of fell off my watching list after like 5 episodes. I'm like, I'll get back to it eventually. So Les texts us in our group text, and he's like, season 4 of Brockmire just dropped on Hulu. I'm watching it. It's set in 2030. The world is collapsing around him as he tries to save baseball. I swear to God, I thought Les was fucking with us. I'm like, this is a funny joke. But then he started putting specifics, and I'm like, wait, you were serious about that? That's what's going on in season 4 of Brockmire? And if you had told me this show that starts with the guy in the radio booth of a small town calling AAA ball, not even AAA ball.
Fucking Morristown, man.
Morristown.
Brockmire.
Talking about his wife getting nailed by multiple dudes and cheating on him, that this would end in a room with him and his wife and his friend deciding whether or not to hand humanity over to an artificial intelligence. I would never have considered that that's where this show was going.
And he's been sober and he's on good terms with Beth, the ex.
It's crazy. Like, it is bonkers. And yet it is still Brockmire.
Him getting sober didn't dull the show. It's amazing.
No.
Yeah. I couldn't believe they did the time jump. I can't believe that. I don't know when the fuck they wrote and filmed this, but it aired on IFC, in theory, I'm told, last March, which feels really fucked up and prescient now. I didn't know how much I wanted this particular bitter dystopia humor right now.
Yeah.
You didn't know, but the AI we are currently developing is just putting us one closer to the singularity. Oh, and that's a line drive down the left field. All right.
Yeah, the Limon thing, it's like the comedy version of what they did in Westworld season 3. It's crazy.
Yeah, it works. It's blended so nicely with, like, God, Amanda Peet back in the Morristown bar after she blows her career up.
Yep.
And I love how they're telegraphing that. Like, everybody can see what's about.
We all see it coming. Yeah.
But when she can't get her lighter lit to light her cigarette, and so she sparks the water coming out of the tap, leans down, lights the cigarette off the tap water. I was like, and then she's got the argument with her bar staff that, like, stands there and pulls a tooth out and throws it down on the bar and is like, second one this week and I'm still standing, whatever. I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah. Also, the whole thing with his daughter was really interesting.
Yeah.
I liked her as a character. They this is story for like 3 seasons of TV that they packed into 8
Mhm.
episodes because his daughter goes through multiple changes. They jump around in time. They jump from they do past the flashbacks. They do 2030 up through like 2033. They make him commissioner of baseball. Like there's such the whole thing. Paul F. Tompkins as the guy negotiating.
Oh
Oh my
man.
god.
Oh, he is spectacular.
Another week with Paul F. Tompkins coming in for the clinch.
Absolutely.
I feel like Paul F. Tompkins, like when I started watching Patton Oswalt on shows, like on Justified, I'm like, oh, it may be time for Patton to headline a show. That never happens with Paul F. Tompkins. I'm like, do not ever put Paul F. Tompkins in the lead.
No, you'd get sick of him.
I don't want a Jason Mantzoukas fronted show.
No, it's like he is that perfect spice that you deploy
Yes.
perfect. Like in You're the Worst, where he's playing himself, he's amazing.
Oh god, that's right.
He's what to TV as to Tim Curry was to movies in the 80s. Like no matter how shit
Yeah.
the movie it is, you throw him in there, and it's just a little bit better. It's just like 10 to 15% better.
It's like a spice named Curry.
Yes. Well, that's crazy. But I like in Rutherford Falls, he's amazing.
That's
Like
right.
you
Yes.
give him a couple episodes and he comes in and just nails it. So perfect. But yeah, this was great. I really liked all of Brockmire. Like I would recommend anybody watch this. It has that You're the Worst energy a little bit. That this is so dark, but it's so funny, and yet it's kind of uplifting. Like the finale got me crying. Like it's a really nice uplifting moment.
Yeah, I kind of it snuck up on me, and I realized like, holy
Yeah.
shit, they've actually laid the groundwork for me to know who all these people are and why they're mad at each other, and like,
Yep.
and to really believe it when Amanda Pete's character, their negotiation
Oh
is
man.
to try to get back in a relationship
Yes.
where she's like, where are we on
Yes.
this? We're almost there. And when she starts agreeing to like days she won't drink, and then like, well,
Yeah.
I'll cut down to 5 days a week. I'm sober on cocaine Wednesdays anyway.
Yep. Yep.
It's like, oh, you do light up the world when you're on cocaine.
Yeah. This was a delight, and the post-apocalypse, or not, the apocalypse setting was just worked way better than I thought it was going
Oh,
to.
the fucking death cults at the eternal fracking flame.
Yes.
Well, the eternal flame's gone out. No, it can't go out. It can only
Can't go out, just
relocate.
moves.
Fuck! Oh, this season was I love this whole show, but this season was just a total surprise.
It was a great, like I say, I can't think of much higher compliment than compared to You're the Worst, but it felt, in watching it all in sort of one big go, it reminded me of that show, like of how confident it was, how funny it was, how unexpected it was, like, and yeah, just fantastic stuff. Some of the stuff in season 2 where he goes into sort of the pit of despair and alcoholism, and like it's as dark and as revealing as what You're the Worst did with Russian and depression. So yeah, fantastic stuff. Changing gears a little bit, let's talk about Rebel over on, I think it's an ABC show,
That sounds right.
but it's on Hulu. We watched it on Hulu. Nick, did you get a chance to watch this one?
I did. The Aaron Brockovich type one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I got
So
it.
there were 3 episodes, right?
Yep, I've watched up to 3.
Yeah, that 3's all that was out that I saw.
So, Les, what put this on your radar?
I love Katie Siegel. I mean, ever since Peggy Bundy, she's just fucking great. Gemma was frequently the best thing on Sons of Anarchy, or at least the most compelling train wreck on Sons of Anarchy. Bike wreck. And so yeah, I'd seen the commercial for it. I was a bit like you, Randy. Like it looked really appealing, but also ABC was throwing everything they had behind it, and it was a lot.
And yeah, they're get ready for Rebel. I was like, oh, I kind of want to hate this on principle.
Right. And then I got to watching it, and it's not Stumptown,
No.
but it kind of mines from that same. No, I'm not a lawyer. No, I'm not a cop. No, I'm not a thing. I'm just loud. And,
Yeah.
and a little drunk.
Yeah. I mean, let's be honest. Katie Seagal's like she's half the reason I watched this show.
Mhm.
Like, and she's great in this role. Like, she's fantastic. She plays this older Aaron Brockovich character who basically her superpower is that she's annoying and she's willing to be annoying.
She never acts like she has anything. I mean, she acts like she has nothing to lose.
Yeah.
She's willing to obviously wreck all her personal relationships, burn
Mhm.
everything to the ground, and
Yep.
just keep coming at you. What I didn't expect on the show was the network of kids and ex-husbands that
Mhm.
fucking hate her.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, but she uses them.
yeah, but yet are still on the hook a little.
Yeah.
And because she's really good at it. Also, the running gag of like people seeing her book on the shelves and shit. I love
Yeah.
that. I love that shit from Castle. I love it here. Yeah, I John Corbett is always a pleasant surprise to see on a show, but he's not why I tuned in.
No, and I thought they did his character dirty a little bit. I'm like, oh, I didn't really want him to be the bad guy here.
No, and I kind of fucking. I mean, I know they're doing it. I think they're doing it to try to show that she is also unreasonable when she pulls the shotgun on him and shit. But
yeah,
like,
yeah,
he's coming off a lot shittier.
yeah. They definitely douche him up.
They shouldn't have started him off like he's gonna wait until their 10-year until so he can.
That was too much.
That makes him
Yeah.
come across as a real douchebag.
That's exactly the bridge too far.
Yeah,
If it
it
had
is.
just been like, look, you're hard to fucking live with. We're not really married.
Yeah, I would have
I'm
gotten
looking at-"
that.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I get it.
Yeah,
But it seemed like he did the math, and that's premeditated and weird.
yeah.
So,
I agree. That's a problem.
But I'm into the show enough to be picking it apart, which surprised me. I sat down to watch one episode going, I like her. And boom, we got through 3 of them. We're like, that's all? There's only 3?
yeah,
I like this it's fluffy, but I like the big bad. It seems like they're going hard against, they got to stop the airport getting built, kind of like,
yeah. hmm
you know, that's not what they're doing. They're trying to bring down a
Medical company. But
medical
yeah.
company.
By the
But
way,
yeah, you know,
they're guest stars on that story. Mary McDonnell is the lead,
Right.
and Adam Arkin playing the sort of the guy who's the CEO. Like, great casting, and you put those 2 in your show, I'm going to watch it.
yeah. It's and then of course we've got the big guns really on the show. Andy Garcia as her.
Andy Garcia. I mean, I can't believe
Fuck yeah.
seeing that guy on TV and then getting him to be the their basically their lead lawyer guy. He's great here. Like
I love the turn they write for him I mean, obviously she keeps going to him, but we're taking it on faith that he's a badass.
yeah,
And then, you know, when we first see him kind of lawyering, his heart's not in it, and I thought they did a good job of making a believable, like, this is this guy not flexing and this guy like really in it.
yep.
Mhm.
I had just watched the new Godfather Coda director's cut or whatever of
Mhm.
Godfather 3,
Mhm.
where Garcia is basically in the running to take over, and it's just wild to watch him jump forward. My brain kept going like, ah, fuck, man, that's Vinny. Like that's basically Michael Corleone. Maybe I don't want to do this.
Yeah, the only storyline I don't like is the daughter going to work for the corporate a law firm.
I don't like that either.
No,
I don't like that
'Cause it's
either.
one, it's really obvious. 2, why is she always surprised when they fuck her over on stuff?
Yeah,
and she
yeah,
gets chumped so clearly and so easily,
yeah.
and then stays.
And then just stays. I'm like, you realize this is just the start, right? This is your first week. They're just gonna keep doing more fucked up shit.
Yeah.
And the whole time she was too chicken shit to actually tell her mom. Like the whole
Yeah.
thing, it's just
The whole
really,
thing is like it makes her running away from her mom and like, oh, like, and she'll do anything, even like sell out to do it. And I'm like, I don't like you.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the other guy should have broken up with you way beforehand. 'Cause-
Oh yeah,
Also, the thing that frustrates me is I really like that character. I like that actress. I like the character, but I hate the story they put her in. And I like the guy playing her dad. Like, I think that's a good, but it's so clunky and
and they've made him
Yeah.
a fucking villain, dude.
Yeah, they
Benny's
did.
bad.
they did. And I don't know if they know they did. That's the thing. It's
That's
like,
the thing.
No, he's a piece of shit.
the
yeah.
doctor story about her son who's a doctor.
Yeah,
I'm enjoying that because of Abigail Spencer. I love seeing
Exactly.
Abigail Spencer, and I love her. I love her energy of just like, no, I'm gonna have sex with you, but we're never have a relationship again.
I have self-respect. You're terrible.
How in control she is of the whole thing is great.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I love everything about her character.
Yeah.
She's stealing it for me. Yeah, I would honestly, if they were gonna spin off this show, I would watch Abigail. I just want Abigail Spencer on the show again.
Yeah, put Abigail Spencer in anything and I'll watch it. Yeah, like,
The other relationship on the show that does not bother me quite as much as the storyline with the daughter who's a lawyer. I deeply hate the kid that the daughter met in AA.
oh, he's got strong douchebag vibes.
Oh,
yeah,
and is definitely going to it's definitely going to relapse her.
yeah.
Like, that
that's
kid's
the
a
thing.
fuck up. Like
you can tell.
they even point out, I mean, like, you don't have to know very many addicts to know that you're not supposed to start relationships
Yeah.
when you're not even to 3 months.
Yeah, I did not like. I don't like that at all either because it is very much like the lawyer. It's like you see where this is going. We all see where this is going. Do you guys not see this? Do you, the writers, not see this, or are you gonna?
You want the characters to be a lot smarter than this.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
And I want to believe that they are setting up a larger example that Katie Seagal, that Rebel has no fucking clue what is happening at her house.
Yeah, and maybe that's what's going on. Maybe.
But again, I don't yet have that faith, and so I don't know that they've made these people. I don't know that they know they've made these people the villains.
Right.
But I am enjoying it.
One more character though. There's a lot of characters in this.
There is a lot of people in this show. She's had a lot of ex-wives or ex-husbands.
Tamala Jones, who plays her investigator.
Ah, yes.
What a great character. Love that character.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah.
Don't make me pull my gun. There's kids in this neighborhood.
That was so good. I love that moment.
And that she's the one that constantly kind of like as Rebel's yelling at people and all that. She's the one that's kind of doing the extra couple of steps to really make it work. Like, oh man, when she so we talked about the big bad, the medical thing.
Mhm.
I like that they have a big bad like that.
Yeah.
But most shows, when you then have to have a story of the week, it's hard to explain to me as a viewer why Rebel's taking time away from this fucking giant problem to go dick around with this. That doesn't happen on this show for me.
No.
That character is so high energy and crazy for her, and zealous for her shit, that like doing the big Aaron Brockovich thing is going to take too long.
Yeah.
And she has to keep that head of steam up, and that is going to drive everyone nuts. And that means that she's got to, if she couldn't find a person evicted from their apartment to help every week or whatever, she'd kill somebody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The whole thing of like, oh, well, she talks to somebody on a radio show, and suddenly she's in their life. Like, it feels totally on brand for the character.
It works in a way that almost every show tries. I mean, you've got to try some kind of story engine like this. Very rarely does it click this hard where I'm like, no, you know what? If you tried to take the story of the week away from her character, I think she'd explode.
Yeah, it wouldn't work. All right, so let's jump over and talk about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
JoJo.
So we previously talked about the first, I think, 10 episodes, 8 wherever it was, right before
10, I believe.
Joseph Joestar and the time jump.
Mm-hmm.
And so we came back, and I knew that there was Joseph Joestar, and we were in the 1930s. And what I did not expect in watching this is that they would ask me to sympathize with a fucking Nazi.
Yeah, they go out of their way to call him a German soldier all the time.
Yeah,
but it's like, guys,
but he's a fucking Nazi.
He's a Nazi. You can call him a Nazi. It's okay. Like, I mean, it's not okay, but
do not tell me a story in which our lead character is like, he was an honorable soldier. No, he was a fucking Nazi, and you should be glad he's dead, even if he helped you. What is wrong with you?
Well, this is an older manga, and Japan was not exactly on the right side of that.
Yeah.
So they have a different viewpoint of that.
What was the line in Lovecraft Country? Like, oh, no. He doesn't get to walk away from that. I don't care if he's on Mars. John Carter's a fucking Confederate.
Yeah, exactly. It's that. Yeah. I'm like, I don't care that he helped you fight a vampire from the ancient days. He's still a Nazi. Yeah, so that was a hard pill to swallow.
The Nazi's not the biggest asshole character on the show for me either.
No.
I mean, like, he is the Nazi, but like JoJo Star is a little shit, and I really hope he'll get his ass. Like, I can't stand him. He's so fucking annoying.
When he meets what do you call it? The descendant of Zeppeli in the restaurant,
Caesar.
And he's so offended that he is hitting on another woman with his hamon, and also so. Actually, I did laugh out loud.
And Caesar's as egotistical as anything as any person who's ever walked, and yet still somehow comes off frequently as like more compassionate and sensible than JoJo.
I did laugh at his anger at the waiter bringing squidding in his pasta. That cracked me up.
Fuck is this?
I also think one thing I'll say for Joseph Joestar, I like when he's the cocky guy when it's unearned. Like when they're facing the three guys with the butt floss who've come out of the pillars,
the pillar men
who they must have been at a gay rave before they got stuck in the pillars. Because what the outfits they're wearing That is not fighting outfits. Those are rave outfits.
They're just a couple glow sticks short.
Yes.
Right.
So when they just kick the crap out of this Nazi, and Joseph's like, "Hey, you guys," and he's like just ready to fight him, and I'm like, "Oh, I love the honor and confidence. Like, you're probably gonna get your ass kicked, but I like the honor and confidence."
Well, he gets his life saved by just being like, well, I did get a couple of hits in, so if you kill me now, you'll be shamed for ever because you're immortal.
Yeah.
You should give me a month. I think a month's all it'll take to learn enough to
To
beat
kick
you.
your ass.
Yeah.
And it works. But it was also the conversation where I realized how much I can't stand the character of Joe, and like how he's just so full of shit, and I also the storytelling conceit of just having him say everything
in
in
his
thought in his head
yes.
is
Well, not only does he say the thoughts in his head, he says what other people are about to say, like, and you're about to say this, so you get to hear almost every line twice.
and the constant like explaining the ruse he just pulled or what just happened. Like, I know this is not a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure thing. This is an anime storytelling structure, I guess.
Well, think of it this way. You know how in like when you watch a sitcom or like something on USA like Burn Notice or Royal Pains, they kind of repeat story points at least 2 or 3 times because they kind of assume you're not really paying attention. Well, they do kind of the same thing for anime because they figure like anime is like their dramas over there. That's their TGI Fridays. That's their everything. Like it's not just cartoons for kids. So that this JoJo is their Gotham or American Horror Story, where it's like this is over dramatic even for us. Like, and like we could what's the fucked up thing that's gonna happen next?
Yeah, I mean this does crack. Like I laughed at every episode I watched. To be honest, it always cracks me up.
Oh sure,
and it's got the over the top fighting action stuff. Like I understand the appeal. I believe that Mandy thinks, because this is one of her favorite animes, that if I just watch enough episodes, that I'm going to fall in love with it. But I've watched a lot of episodes now, and I have not fallen in love with it.
Mandy, I fell in love with it episode 1, and I don't think you're going to be... no one's going to fall in love with it with episode 8 of season 2.
Yeah, I don't like anime or the animation style in general. Like the weird musculature of the arms and stuff. Like I don't really like the style of it.
For me, you had me at Dio at the first one.
So what I do enjoy about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is the same kind of thing that I enjoy about oh god, I'm blanking on the name of it right now. The fictional show that was supposedly like American cop style show from Eastern European nation.
Oh, Comrade Detective.
Comrade Detective. It's the same kind of shit I enjoy about Comrade Detective, only once the joke wears off of Comrade Detective, I still enjoyed the cop showness of it. Like the actual show is still fun. When the like, oh my god, everything's screaming like David Lynch's Dune. I mean, it's like the sleeper has awakened full speed the whole fucking time. And once it wears off for me, I'm just left with anime fight scenes that I don't really like.
Yeah, I get that.
It's character designs I don't like. I also thought the 90s X-Men looked like shit, and I don't ever want to rewatch it. It's a terrible, terrible cartoon, and I'm in the minority on a lot of these, so don't take this as a hit against...
Wow.
Nick, yeah, where do you come down on JoJo's?
Season 2 is a little bit different. Joseph is more... The characters that they go for JoJo that they keep doing just kind of get worse and worse, in my opinion. Because there's a charm about the first JoJo and his like Captain America, like everything is so honor bound and everything is absolutely super important, and I will speak like it's super important. And Dio is such a sniveling villain, like it's over the top in exactly the right ways.
Yeah.
And so I don't think, for me, JoJo peaks at season 1, but I do love the other seasons of it. This one has the best accents for sure. Because I love the dub was like, no, do a shitty German accent. No, do a shitty Italian accent.
Yes.
Don't you put effort into this. Don't you dare.
It is some Mario level Italian accent.
Yeah, it is because this isn't the show for a good one. No. Like, what was it, Susie Q, and her Italian accent. And I'm like, well, I don't know if I like the way you walk, but I definitely don't like the way you talk, Susie Q. It is fucked up.
I know I said I like the white blouse, but the other one is nice too. So which is better? Oh, which do I choose? White. But then again, this is really nice too. What do I do?
Yeah, and yeah, the German is... I just surprised they didn't put a filter on his voice when he becomes a Nazi cyborg. Because that would have been extra funny. And I do love that he immediately does the Heil Hitler thing. And I'm like, okay, so you're going to call him a German soldier, but you're going to do the Heil Hitler thing right there? Okay, I get... What are we doing here? What are we going for here?
At some point, I'm not the asshole. He's the one sticking with it. Like, you know?
And of course, this is the season with Master ACDC.
Oh,
which
man.
is my favorite name.
Spelled out.
Villain.
I love seeing it in the subtitles. ACDC. Like, like with an E, with a couple of E's, couple of I's. It's great.
Yeah, they just throw E's and I's in there, and it'd be like, it's like, this'll get us past the copyright. Just throw some extra letters in there that we won't pronounce.
We'll just phonetically spell it. It's fine.
Also, the thing they do with Lisa's character is really super creepy.
Yeah.
I want the Cult Jam to show up so bad. Like, they're continuing like weird music references for no discernible theme or genre, just out of nowhere.
No, the creator just likes American music.
The rest of the references, though, like, I mean, AC/DC and Led Zeppelin and like
Zeppelin
and even Dio, like Ronnie Dio. Lisa is a pretty deep cut.
I love it. Okay, one of the weirder of all the fight scenes and stuff I just said I didn't like. There have been a couple of things that are just too fucked up to let pass. Attack ribs.
Oh man, yes, the attack ribs.
It's just his ribs jump out, and they stop to explain that this is not an unknown power.
Dude, they put it out like a trading card.
Yeah.
Yep.
What the?
Rib blades, sometimes known as fighting ribs. They're capable of being manipulated in any direction.
Like, this is a normal thing that he does. I'm like, wait a minute, how often does he does this? This is a signature move.
Diegetic narrator in the show suddenly that jumps in and is like, oh, by the way, it's just amazing. And that is still not as weird as the pigeon that Caesar stuffs in the girl's mouth and fills with Haman energy.
Well, it's like it's those things where it's like the fights, even between little fights that don't matter. There's so many of like, well, I thought you here. Well, I thought of this. Knew you were gonna do that, so I did this.
Yes.
I knew you knew I was gonna knew you were gonna do that, so I did this.
That's why I put the heist bot and turned the random bot. Yeah.
It would be like like the Riddler would go like, guys, these fights are a little complex. Like, I think you're like, you might want to dial it back here. This seems a little elaborate.
What do you think, hat maker? I think it's a hat upon a hat too many.
I will say this: it's better than anything in the new Mortal Kombat.
I have not seen the new Mortal Kombat, but as I understand it, most people made it a few minutes in and dozed off anyway.
Yeah. The fights here are way better than anything in the new Mortal Kombat.
So, did anybody in the new Mortal Kombat, when they were doing like stand-in with their Haman disc energy on the spikes, AC/DC was not doing that. Like, they do this whole fight on like a valley of whatever of big tall stone spikes.
Yeah.
And they're running across them, and there's these little like dink 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 noises as JoJo makes these like gold discs of Haman energy under his feet. And then you realize that AC/DC is just stepping on every spike, sliding down until like he hits the piercing gauge of his foot, and then moving on. And like, he's just like, I don't know, even Jesus walked on the water. Like, he didn't, walk on the spikes underneath it. Fuck.
The powers that the vampires have are so vast and seem to be like, you can
kicks the arm off a fucking corpse and like, dink, catches it, grows it onto his arm.
How do you Well, with hormone and like, no, that can't explain fucking everything.
No. Also, that is just a word Michael Jackson said once in the middle of a song. Stop acting like it is a magic power.
Yeah, like you can kill one of them, but suddenly their brain and vascular system can survive. Like, wait, what?
And the new thing this half of a season, whatever this is,
Yeah.
of being able to like finger lace into everybody's body sudden, like
Yeah.
like we go most of this without we lose the like capital letter like ridiculous named Haman assorted energy toe attack or
They're
whatever.
like your lesbian aunt. They're really big on fingering. No, too far. Okay, tough room.
That's a knuckle, several knuckles too far, Nick. So they lost most of those for most of the season until he gets through most of his training, and then the goofy named fight moves and styles start back up. But this season has a lot more just like sheer fucking creepiness, undercut by his constant narration. But yeah, the like melding of like, haha, I let you absorb me so that I could do my Haman energy from inside you. Like that's phrasing.
Yeah,
Guest written by David Lynch.
Well, that's what Kurt Russell should have done in The Thing, man. He should have used his hormone energy.
Right.
It's true. Nobody talks about it. All right, let's talk about the other animated show that we watched this week, and that is the finale of Invincible over on Prime. And
Can I start this one out?
Yes, by all means.
Yes. Now, Nick, much as we learned on JoJo, you don't want your podcast opinions to just burst out of your head in an unfocused blast. You want it like a squirt gun through a tiny hole. so your podcast energy can cut like a sheet of oil.
I love that Les's references are so specific. He definitely watched it with the subtitles on, and like he knows the exact wording. Yeah, Les, you mentioned to me one time a guy. What was his name that hated Memento?
Oh, the guy that wrote "Save the Cat."
Yeah,
it's Blake Snyder.
It'd be really ironic if you couldn't remember the guy who
he hates Memento so much.
In the middle of his screenwriting book, like he goes on this tear about like why Memento is just does not conform to any of the screenwriting rules and it to its detriment. And he's like, and if you believe I'm wrong, I am not. And here's an email address, and you can send me your best shot. Be warned, I am right. And
unless that is a level of confidence that is like, you know what? I'm good. I believe you. Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and like Memento in blissful ignorance from now on.
He's since passed. I don't think it was causal, but
sure.
Somebody might really love Memento. I don't know. There's a lot of hardcore Chris Nolan fans out there.
Did Guy Pearce do it? We don't know. So for everyone listening that likes Invincible, which seems to be a lot of people, I will put you this same same challenge right now. If you want to continue to like Invincible, you might want to skip to the next skip till next week, and we'll see you next week. Because I'm going to break it down for why Invincible is not a good show. So, where do we start? Well, the biggest problem is the pacing. The pacing is absolutely awful.
What the hell?
The worst I've ever seen.
Nick, you've read the comics, right?
Yep, yes, I have.
And you like the comics?
I do. And they have blown through what I think is a solid 3 years of comics.
Yeah.
In one season. And it is to the detriment of the show because a lot of this stuff, you know, it's not like the what they do here is wrong. It's just that when you do it this fast and in this order, it makes things really fucked up. Like the whole thing with Robot.
Yeah.
Robot, he does the thing where he in this season where he makes a new body for himself in order to go with Monster Girl and like kind of be with her in this like relationship. And in the comics, it takes a long time It's even still weird in the comics, but in the comics, it's kind of like okay, you've convinced me that being mortal is worth it, that living life is worth it. I'm gonna become a child the same age as you, and I'm gonna fix you. This is it's like he's calling his shot, Babe Ruth style, of like, no, I'm gonna put my ass on the line too, of like, I'm gonna fix you, and I'm gonna fix you in the right amount of time.
And it's still creepy and weird, but it's not quite as creepy and weird as I met this girl yesterday, and now I'm going to do this.
He starts that process immediately.
Yeah.
And don't fucking tell me that like a bunch of months have passed and we haven't seen them, because also they are terrible at doing that.
Yeah.
But no, it's episode 3 where he has one conversation with Monster Girl, and then he releases the twins.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is the start to that thing. So he has one conversation when it's like, I'm gonna make a teenage boy version of myself to be with you forever.
Mhm.
Okay, you're a fucking creep. You're a psycho.
Yeah.
Like, it's, for me, Robot is ruined for this season. Like, he's a fucking weirdo creep.
Because, I mean, that jailbreak is not without harm.
Yeah.
It absolutely fucks up they make a running joke out of Tony, I think is his name. The guy whose arm they almost rip off.
Yeah.
Dude, did that guy come back in later I thought it was like, what was it, like the kid and his dad?
When they lock him back up, he's no,
okay.
it is almost like that, but yeah, like when at the end of the season when they're locking the Mahler twins back up, that guy's in a huge arm cast. And he's like, "Hey, sorry, man."
Yeah, because they kind of drop that kid and his dad thing too just halfway throughout the season. Like they don't like. Okay, I guess that's not coming.
Which
back.
that was so fucking sad. I was really hoping it wasn't going to be the running gag.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. This is the thing with Invincible that I'm still going to watch this, and it's interesting enough where I almost want to go back and read the comics because I'm interested in seeing where the story goes. But the trappings of it and the pacing of it is so off-putting. The pacing is one thing, like as you know, they burned through so much story. But we got to the finale, and the finale is 30 minutes of a super powerful dad beating the living shit out of his kid and using his kid's body to murder multiple people who we don't see as like collateral damage. Like to him, they're just collateral damage. But we get to see them like, we see a daughter murdered and her dad reaching for her, and then he kills the dad. Like, we see him kill an entire subway full of people who we saw existing a few minutes. They make a point of, hey, these are nice people going about their lives, and then murders the shit out of them. And I think, for one, Mark's fucking terrible at this. Like, yes, okay, you want to do realistic violence, whatever, but I don't have any interest in seeing that. That's just terrible.
This is already the second or third time we've seen him beat into the hospital. This is not new in the finale.
If you want this to be emotionally connecting, it's got to be the first time we've seen Mark lose this bad, or the first time we've seen violence on this level. But if you want to do that, you can't have Mark lose so goddamn always.
Yeah, Mark's power is to get the shit beat out of him. He's not invincible.
And here I'm going to okay, this is going to sound condescending, and I hope so, because I really want it to come off that way. Invincible is a comic based off of a kid that is, get this, invincible.
Yeah.
He's a high school kid that thinks the show even says the line, he's a high school kid that high school kids think they're invincible, you actually are. So in most of the comic, he is figuring out this, it is a violent world, but he can't get hurt in it. He's just as tough as his dad. He's not as strong, he's not as fast, but he's just as tough. Like, you can't train to be tougher.
Dude, they beat the blood out of his skull several times.
Yeah.
So he goes through a lot of stuff like collateral damage, and he's allowed to make mistakes that other superheroes aren't allowed to make because he's safe. And then after a certain point in the comic, that safety is ripped away when Omni-Man turns on him. And it's a big moment of Mark, like, Mark can't do anything. Like, it's the first time he's helpless.
Yeah.
Because Omni-Man is just like, it's just too much. And that doesn't, like, and that's the whole point of the Invincible comic, is that it means a lot more if when your invulnerable guy does get hurt. It's kind of like the problem with Luke Cage, where Luke Cage is a guy that can't get shot. That's a black guy that can't get shot. That's his power. But in the first season, they create bullets that can shoot him.
Like, immediately.
And I'm like,
yeah.
Well, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, that's his whole thing.
It's like, as soon as Battle Beast beats Mark into the hospital,
why is Battle Beast even here?
Why isn't he working for Cecil? Or when he showed up there, his whole, because clearly he's a mercenary for hire. And even when he shows up to the fight, he's like, I am only here because I heard there would be worthy champions. Like, Omni-Man's not hiding. So when you got to
Yeah.
this planet,
Yeah.
you should have sought out Omni-Man and ignored everyone else like they were.
He's a character from later in the comics that only makes sense later in the
Yeah.
comics.
Yeah.
His
Yeah.
existence fucks up story this early.
It does. It very much feels like Kirkman was like, okay, I know what I did, and I want to do some other stuff, but I really want to get my favorite characters in there. I don't know if like maybe he thought they'd get canceled.
It feels like they are terrified they were going to get canceled. That's what all of the storytelling choices feel like here to me.
And maybe they will be able to slow down and calm the fuck down with seasons. Now they got 2 and 3.
Mm-hmm.
But
The
I don't
damage
know if
is
they
done a bit, I think.
I don't know if they can get me back because man, I fucking hated this finale. I was really angry about it.
Season 2, they're gonna have to go like at least halfway through. They're gonna have to go to the Viltrumite thing in space, and when it becomes a space opera, that's where I lost interest in Invincible and I stopped reading.
Yeah.
And for me, they burned through all the stories I really liked. That whole robot thing, I thought that was really cool in the comics.
Yeah.
It was morally dubious, but I kind of got what was going on with it. I don't understand why Monster Girl acts like a girl in the show, acts like a little girl.
Yeah.
What she should why doesn't she drink and smoke?
Yeah.
Isn't that an easy visual gag that's funny and also reminds us she's a 30-year-old in a 12-year-old body?
Yeah. Yeah, maybe that's too far, but the blood and guts isn't.
Yeah, in the comics they treat her like she talks like a 30-year-old. In this one, she likes Rex, which also makes me think she's a sociopath because Rex is psychotic.
Yeah.
Rex is the worst, and they give him all the dialogue whenever we cut to the Guardians, and I'm like, shut up. Yeah, I can't wait for you to die.
I like Jason Mantzoukas too, but man, it's too much.
And and then I'm like, why? She should not find this funny. This is immature humor. She's 30 fucking years old.
Yeah.
Not an actual kid.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Like, I feel like I have to explain to the writers, like, what they're writing.
Except that Robot doesn't know the 30-year-old woman. He's only spoken to her, like, once.
Yeah.
So he's just attracted enough to her to do this, which is weird.
It's creepy.
And then he builds her a body that assumes that her mind as a 30-year-old woman wants to fuck Rex as a 12-year-old.
Yeah, yeah.
And then they all go into battle. And we have not shown his powers.
If you were to go to your wife of 30 years and like make a rose petal thing into her into your apartment up to the bed and says like I will be with you forever, that's cute. If you do that on your second date, that's fucking
creepy. It's a
creepy.
whole different movie. Nora Ephron did not write that second one.
Yeah.
When stuff happens matters.
It really does. And they rush through so much shit here. Black Samson,
one, what the fuck are his powers?
Yeah.
What even are their powers? Did they show them? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Also, I didn't know him enough without his powers to really give a shit. And now suddenly he has his powers again, and I'm like, cool, I guess, dude.
Who cares? Yeah, who cares?
Well, we needed a scold, so.
Yeah.
And the thing they've done with Amber, like, I liked the Amber relationship in the first episode, in the first 3 episodes. I shouldn't have called it early, because that torpedoed super bad.
Well, when she is mad at him for not being with her, I was like, okay, yeah, I understand that. But then she's like, they do the thing, she's like, I knew you were a superhero. I'm like, well, then what the fuck are you mad at him about? And then...
bullshit. Her dialogue in the previous scene makes no sense.
When she goes, I knew you were a superhero, I go, flag on the play. Stop. Wait.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
One, no, you fucking didn't.
Yeah.
The dialogue you said in the previous 3 episodes makes no sense if you knew he was a superhero.
Yep.
Also, 2, if you did, makes you look like a complete bitch.
Yeah.
You're mad that he's gone off saving kids.
Mark, come meet me at this party or this soup kitchen or whatever. Don't go save the planet.
I can't believe you missed Thanksgiving with my mom. What'd you do? Save some kids again? Fuck you.
Yeah. And
this
then,
is stupid.
Then from there, she breaks up with him because of that. Even she's like, no, it's just too many lies. And then she gets back together with him after his dad. Like, I don't understand her character arc at all.
I don't understand because, like, well, I guess you're back together. I didn't really understand your conflict to begin with, so I guess you can be back together.
Yeah.
Because I didn't understand what the fuck was happening.
I also really, I don't like it when shows or movies, they go for a joke that is right there. Like, I see it. We all saw it.
Yeah.
But it undercuts a character or it undercuts the plot line. I feel like Amy Schumer movies do it a lot. Where, like, they'll make a joke about, like, John Cena's gay. Which is weird to start with.
Yeah.
But it also then undercuts him having an actual character arc in that movie. And same here, like, They go through the whole, like, oh, I already knew Mark was invincible. Also, his best friend can't keep his mouth shut about it at all. And then when they find out Eve, they go for the joke of like, oh, you're duplicate? No, dude, I am the most powerful person on this fucking planet. Like, I can do scary shit that for whatever reason we have just decided to not go into.
Also, they burn through her story, her interesting story of going, in the comics, she goes to Africa to help out, like, third world countries and shit. In this one, when they said she was 500 miles away, I'm like, wait a second. You just went into the woods in North America somewhere and helped out.
And started doing this? Yeah.
Like, and then I'm like, well, that screams you're running away from home. That's not you becoming an adult. Like, that. They fucked up so many things that are like, should be easy layups.
Only these things had already been written out in story.
And I swear to God, if you like this show, you're bringing a lot of the comic with you to it. Like, because a lot of it only makes sense.
That's the question I want to ask. I have a lot of friends who adore this show. They really love it. I have friends who like this better than Falcon and Winter Soldier, who think it holds together better.
Are they 13-year-olds?
No, that's the thing. What are people seeing in this show that I'm not
What's
seeing?
What's funny is I've seen people complain about the animation, which is literally the thing I didn't mind.
Yeah, I don't mind the animation.
It was consistent. The character designs are great. It looks like the comic to me.
Because something is violent and nihilistic doesn't make it realistic.
Right.
It's this Zack Snyder thing of like, no, Watchmen is not a realistic version of the comics. It's a nihilistic parody.
Yeah.
That's not realism.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, like, I look at, say, The Boys, which has a lot in common with, but The Boys does everything better.
The Boys, it's so weird. The Boys, this is the version of The Boys, the comic, which is terrible.
Yeah.
And, which, no offense, Garth, well, yeah, some offense, Garth Ennis. That book is fucking awful. And most of your shit is. I love your Punisher, though. The Boys does this, the show does it way better. Just this, you know, I feel much more for A-Train running through one person.
Yeah.
Than Omni-Man killing a whole subway full of people.
Yeah.
And the only thing in this show that I think they kind of did right is Cecil's character. Because he feels like he knows he's kind of a piece of shit, but also like he's doing whatever he needs to do. But also he's super smart only when he's not being stupid.
Yeah, the part I liked about these last couple episodes was when Cecil starts throwing all the stuff that he's been building against Omni-Man. Like, this is a guy who saw this problem coming and did it, and knows it probably won't be enough, but it's like, this is everything I did to try and be ready.
So I mean, they have to depower Viltrumites to face a planet of them later, and they're gonna have to. So I know they're gonna have to fuck this up somehow, but I don't understand how the fluoride in the water that makes certain spectrums of light invisible apparently works on Viltrumites.
Yeah.
When their DNA is supposed to just basically obliterate everything.
Yeah.
And then separately, if only Cecil had discovered that the secret to killing Viltrumites is RoboCop cosplay pieces and college student corpses. I don't know what the fuck metal he bolted onto dead jocks from a Division II school, but they're the only things that can fucking do it. Why? How?
That he made a thing that can fight Omni-Man in his fucking basement.
In the sewer below his dorm.
When a $400 million satellite gives him a nosebleed?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
How did you harden college students' teeth enough?
Yeah.
Also, the final battle makes no sense because they always say, like, we don't have anything to fight Omni-Man. Oh, how about Battle Beast? You know, that guy that...
That guy? Right. That is hireable?
That is hireable.
That is for hire?
Literally.
That he said he's hireable? And that you have Machine Head, Machine Head knows how to contact him. You remember when we saw that? Like 2 episodes ago?
You can't tell me that they don't have Machine Head's head in a jar connected to, you know, like air gapped from the rest of their shit, just picking, just combing.
You might not even have to pay him. Because he's like, I want to fight strong people. Like, hey, Omni-Man said your mom was a pussy.
Yeah.
Well, she is. Like, no, but in a bad way.
But yeah, like in an earth way.
Yeah.
And yeah, like, and then of course, like, oh, don't send Robot. I'm like, well, Robot is shown that he's just drones. So sending robots wouldn't
makes a lot of
kill
sense.
anybody.
Yeah.
And, don't send Adam Eve. When I'm like, oh, it's clearly what you've shown as the most powerful person on this fucking planet that can rearrange molecules. Like, have her go turn his eyes into, like, beets or legumes or whatever. I don't know.
I just want to see Adam Eve study Mark and study a human for like a month, and then turn Omni-Man human, Superman 2 style. And then you'd have that moment of like, dude, you have never had to fucking fight, have you?
Yeah.
Nice. Because she's freaky powerful, and they just don't use it.
Her parents are scared of her, and for like good reason.
Right? She's the kid from Twilight Zone, for fuck's sake.
The thing is, none of this stuff would bother me that much if they weren't in service to such a dumb, violent story. Like I'm already tired of the every time we see the Invincible logo, there's more blood on it. Like that is a mission statement. It is clear that that's what they want to do, and this finale showed that mission statement, just laid out that, oh no, our mission statement is we're gonna, because they're all just drawings, we're gonna murder a bunch of people and show that that's what superheroes do.
Yeah, for them, the title Invincible is ironic.
I have no interest in watching that. It's fine if that's your thing. That is not a thing I have interest. It just makes me sad.
So I tend to believe, rightly or wrongly, when it's a comic that I've read that's not terribly obscure. Invincible, among comic nerds, is real well known.
Yeah.
That they couldn't. I went into this show thinking, well, yeah, okay, they did the twist in the first episode, but there'd be no way to hide it. Everybody's read this comic. Everybody's read this comic has never once, never a true statement. And
yeah.
And so I deeply wonder if they had done this like Good Place.
Yeah.
You want to talk? I mean, because I was like, you can't go a whole season with a twist like that. Good Place did. Granted, there is not a comic book of Good Place that exists out there to go spoil this, and people would be dicks, but that would still work for a good. I mean,
also Robert Kirkman is no Mike Schur.
Yeah, but it's not like the vast majority of people watching this on Amazon Prime. If you've not read the comic, you are also not in comic nerd forum boards and shit where people are going to spoil this for you. I really have to wonder if they had shown me the Guardians do some shit before they got killed, and let me understand that we are now, Nick, like you and I were talking about, like we are now left with just the Teen Titans. And
the Justice League is dead.
Justice League is dead, and you are now left with just the Teen Titans, and nobody's entirely sure if Superman is okay. And like that would have been,
There's a lot of tell don't show in this show. A lot of this
Oh sure, like when they say how good of a boyfriend Mark is, by having Amber tell you a bunch of stuff he did rather than fucking show anything. So the writers in the show even know they didn't do enough work.
So a part of me believes that this is anime storytelling process, and that this is a storytelling language that is becoming mainstream that I'm not used to, and that we are going to lean more towards it is a shortcut. I mean, it is.
No, it's just bad writing.
It is a shortcut to showing things. But I mean, like in anime, like I don't want to pay to animate all of this shit, so we're just gonna have someone stand real still while the background moves, and they like glow with energy, and they're gonna speak 10 straight minutes of description of what of like a heist con, and that's, I feel like, where Invincible goes sometimes. Of like you said, like, why don't we just say Mark's a good boyfriend enough times? It's gonna feel like an epileptic seizure, and then you read a Wikipedia synopsis. But when you tell your friends about it later, it will sound like a show.
And then they keep saying that Omni-Man and the Guardians were his friends, and I'm like, it looks like he was kind of a dick to them when they were alive.
He's a dick to everybody.
Yeah.
No matter how many times you say it, I don't feel it. Like,
also,
what are you talking about?
The whole thing with his wife, like, you're telling me that she never picked up that this guy's a psychopath in all that time?
That he treats you like a pet?
I mean, come on.
The whole pet line, I did like that because that's
out of the comic. It's
like,
perfect.
wow.
Oh, it's in the comic. But here's the thing.
I was like, fuck that.
In the comic, Omni-Man and Nolan are played much differently. They didn't give away the game so early. Like, he wasn't being an asshole until like 5 or 6 issues. Yeah, and
no, he was actually being pretty good at his job.
Yeah, and I think that because they wanted to tip their hands so early, they undercut. Like, we never got to see Nolan, and they tried to do a flashback of like Nolan and dating her and that kind of thing. And I'm like, I didn't buy it because he still came off as kind of a dick.
Well, why do people, like, I've seen this, people do this before, and it's almost never works. Why do people think that watching characters discovering a mystery that we already know the answer to is interesting?
Yeah.
We're watching Cecil and the mother try and figure out that Omni-Man's evil when, like, okay, we already know, but fine, I guess you can just have a couple weird conversations with him.
Yeah, this will be neat to watch two characters stumble in the dark, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, that can be good if written well. It's just the writing here doesn't sell
No, the writing here is sloppy and
it.
just
Yeah,
downright bad.
it
And I
is.
challenge you to to come at me with anything else. Cecil, when the mother finds out, he has invisible people there in the house, and I'm like,
Yeah.
why does he have them there? That tips off that they know about it. Oh,
Yeah.
I get it. Because Omni-Man can kill a bunch of invisible people then.
Yeah.
Like, the answer to a lot of why in the show is that so a bunch of violence can happen.
Yeah.
And that's pretty shitty reason.
Yep.
And it makes Cecil look stupid, and it makes you as the writers and producers look childish and immature.
Yep.
And I hate it. Just hate
I
it.
will say, when Nick and I have already, we spent an hour on my birthday yesterday
Hey,
bad mouthing.
so we do every
Yeah.
week. We fix a show we
Fix
don't
a
need
show
to fix.
that does not deserve it. But I'm telling you, so for the college students that should not be invulnerable to Omni-Man, when they got sent out to fight, the first thing that should have happened is that they get all the metal on them stomped flat and just beaten into goo. And I would love it for the conceit of them to be that they're unkillable, like that whatever Ezra Miller's character did to college students has now made their corpses fucking unkillable. And then from that moment forward in the series, there are 3 lumps with a metal RoboCop costume half out of them, and a couple of teeth that like slide along places. Something comes on the TV. Omni-Man sighted in Tibet, and they slide off a different direction. Like, just for the whole episode, that there's just these unkillable gelatinous blobs that are beat into a smoothie.
And the funny thing, that is the kind of thing that Kirkman did in the comics.
It would fit perfectly here, and I'm like, but we're not going to do that. We're just going to make them inexplicably stronger than God.
Like, you remember the bit? I mean, this is the pacing you guys talked about. You remember the bit where he throws the garbage into the air, and we learn, I guess he's got powers.
Shit, yeah.
And then, like, I think it was even later that episode it comes down, or maybe it was the next episode. It comes down in London. In the comics, it took them like five issues. You had forgotten about it. And then it lands, and when it lands, it's hilarious because you're like, "Oh shit, what a great callback!"
And see, the last, like the stinger on every episode could have been one of those.
Yeah, you gotta let those
But you gotta let
callbacks
it
breathe, and they're not letting anything breathe.
In the comic, every time they go into the atmosphere, they see a bunch of villains that they've thrown into space.
Yeah, yeah,
and like that's the sort of shit that I love. I'm like, that's hilarious.
Because he says, Omni-Man says offhand one time, like, "Oh yeah, just throw it back into space." Like,
yeah, what would we do if we didn't have space to throw these guys in?
yeah.
So the good things about Invincible for me are, it has. I mean, as a business owner, it's huge. They've people are buying Invincible at record numbers right now at my store, and for me, it makes me want to read the rest of Invincible. There's enough in here that I'm like, I want to see how this was done a little bit better, and I want to see where it goes. I don't know that I want to wait 4 years.
I would caution you.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I didn't read the whole thing, but I went back this week because I'm like, you know what? I wanted to finish it up. And then I remembered why I stopped reading.
Yeah.
And I was like, no spoilers, but a major character gets sexually assaulted.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, Kirkman, okay. No matter what we're doing, we got to do this.
I just know that I heard that the ending is good. And so it's kind of one of those things where I want to power through it and get to the ending.
Also, like, they want to do a redemption arc with Omni-Man, and it's kind of hard it will be hard to do in the show. Considering how awful they've made it.
It's going to be damn near impossible, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, as you were saying, Les, the voice cast is great. Like,
I like the character designs, I like the animation, I like the voice cast. I had told Nick about, there's a comic, Top 10, which will never be created into anything because Alan Moore, I believe, owns that. Though I honestly, I am that asshole who hopes that someone lawyer breaks that shit and causes Alan Moore to spin in his grave until the beard burns off him. But whatever, it's never going to be made into a show. But what I love about it is the same thing that's keeping me going on Invincible. Even though they aren't really doing the stories with these people that I want, I can bring parts of the comic to it, and mostly I am entertained anytime somebody spits out 50 non-major like newly invented comic characters. I loved Astro City for this shit. I love Top 10 for this because there's just a million powered people. I haven't read, is it Jeff Lemire's
Black Hammer?
Black Hammer I've not read, but
which
I've heard
I
it's great.
adore.
There's something special about making a universe that's full of superheroes that's like the DC or Marvel universe and that pretends that it's been around forever and that you know everything.
Yeah.
But like it's super new, but it has a whole bunch of I don't know. I like that.
Yeah.
Well, and one of the things I'll give Invincible credit for though is that it's not just like he's not just doing Batman, Superman analogs. He does some of those, but like
yes.
Battle Beast and Duplicate and some of those characters like Monster Girl.
Shrinking
These
Ray.
are pretty wholly original. Shrinking Ray. He is not just doing a wink, wink. You know what character this is? Like he is adding characters to this universe, and I like that.
Yeah, can you tell me Shrinking Ray's real name or what she sounds like?
Her name's Rachel.
Oh, okay. Because I was gonna say, like in the show, I'm like, I know you've had dialogue, but I can't remember what it is.
It was, I think, said by a computer filler voice. I think it was
Yeah.
just read by a cat. No, that's not fair. There was really an actress hired to do this, but I have no idea. It's like Grey Griffin or someone.
The only reason I know her name is Rachel is because she's called Shrinking Ray. Like I have no idea why otherwise. Because
Well, it was Ray.
She does fade into the background.
They gender flipped that from the comic.
Yeah.
Also, Duplicate, great name for a superhero name.
Oh my
But
God.
also in the comic, it's also kind of like this too. But in the animated, especially, it's kind of like excuse to show violence against a woman.
She only makes
superhero.
copies to get out from being killed.
Yeah.
I mean, and
Yeah.
she comes real close several times to seeing number one
Yeah.
get shot. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Anyway, Invincible. God, I'm still gonna fucking watch it. I'm still gonna watch it. I'm so mad at myself, but I know I'm gonna watch season 2.
Oh, they've got my number. I'm gonna watch 2 and 3.
I'm gonna watch season 2. I've watched 6 seasons of Arrow though, Randy.
Yeah.
Me watching your show doesn't mean shit. I watch a lot of crap.
And that's what makes us the TV dudes.
Of course.
That's what makes us.
Blood. Cue blood.
Right.
Cue cocaine wine.
That's it. It's just spilled cocaine wine.
So that will be it for us this week. Thank you, Les. Thank you, Nick.
Thanks, Randy. Thanks, Nick.
Thanks, dudes.
Thank you for our listeners. Thank you to our patrons. Thank you, Mandy, for making us watch more JoJo. You got one more show, and I know you're agonizing over what you're going to... I know you're going to torment us with some
You
other
know we have a
anime.
Funimation account now.
Ooh.
Nick, she knows. Oh, she knows.
Mandy, I really think they would legitimately like My Hero Academia, but again, maybe you don't want them to like what you want them to watch. So
No, she has been nice enough to aim us away from like sexually fueled costumes.
She put us on Carol and Tuesday, which we all liked.
Yes,
and wound
which was
up on
really wonderful.
Kyle's best of. And until next time,
TV Dudes out! The TV Dudes is an independently run podcast out of Austin, Texas. We are exclusively listener supported. If you'd like to help us out, go to patreon.com/TVDudes.
You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at TV Dudes. All the music for our show is done by our friend and original TV dude Gregory J. Amani Smith.
To find out more about us, go to thetvdudes.com. I'm Randy Lander.
I'm Les Weiler.
And I'm Kyle Scott.
Thanks for listening.